Energy Boutique with your energy forecast for Friday, September 15th. So today we will see the moon in this Virgo energy transition into Libran energy. But just a reminder, we're still very much in the new moon energy. We will be for a couple of days. And of course, we're in this cycle until the new moon in Libra next month. Now, what's also going to add a little bit of wonkiness here today, first of all, we have to remember that the lunar hangover is a real thing, especially, the day after a moon event. We're definitely going to feel all of the signs and symptoms that I rattled off in this week's ascension forecast. So if you need to go back, take a listen to that. Get a little bit familiar on what this energy actually does to the physical body. And because this is Virgo energy, there's a lot of digestive issues, there's a lot of exhaustion, there's a lot of mental pressure. And because today Mercury is going to go direct, we're definitely going to see that mental pressure intensify. So we will see the moon in Virgo go void, of course, at 9:49 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we will be locking into Libran energy at 1:45 p.m. So considering the fact that when we move out of an earth sign and into an air sign, we get lighter. Things get more bubbly, a little bit more fresh. We have an opportunity to kind of move out of the heaviness of the weight of the physical realm, the physical body, the present moment. We get to move up into the mental plane. We get to see things from a different set of eyes, really explore both sides of the coin, so to speak. But just remember that Libran energy, although the attempt is to find peace, harmony, and balance, we typically speaking find that through living in the extremes. We have a lot to think about, we have a lot to feel about, and especially coming out of this new moon and Mercury going direct, this Libran energy is going to help us try and figure out a new middle point, a new common ground for us to kind of launch off of and process some of the happenings over the last couple of days. So there are 8 different aspects here today, 6 of them going to involve the moon. The moon, still in Virgo energy, going to make an interaction with the North Node in Aries energy in such a way that is going to provide us with a choice point, with a crossroads decision point. Now, doesn't necessarily mean that we are going to make the decision, doesn't necessarily mean that we're going to take action on locking in our choice, but what it does mean is that we're going to see very clearly 2 different choices, decisions, paths, directions, and we're going to have a little bit of time to kind of pick apart, if you will, the pros and cons of both and really help us to take a logical, practical approach to some of the plans and strategies that we're going to have to formulate in order to decide, to choose, to align with a path, a direction, a decision. The moon is then going to directly oppose and sit across from Neptune, who is in his place of power in this Pisces energy. Of course, he's retrograde. The Pisces energy, Virgo energy, they share the healing axis of the zodiac wheel. So this is going to bring on some confusion. And again, just because Mercury is going direct later here today does not mean that we're going to gain all the clarity, all the information, all the details that we've been lacking in the snap of the fingers. What it does mean is that we have to ground ourselves out and act as the observer. Many of us, especially from this new moon in Virgo, need to pay attention to what it is that we can no longer tolerate, what we don't want to pour into, what we don't want to experience. This is about closing the door on the past, on the old version of self and the old reality that the old self had created. And because we are setting the tone on what it is that we want to experience moving forward into this new karmic chapter that's coming at us here in about a week, we really do have to kind of process who and what needs to stay and needs to go. This opposition in Neptune does bring on a little bit of a funk, does bring on a lot of overwhelming thoughts and ideas, does bring on a lot of hypersensitivity to the energies around us, but it does bring a certain level of confusion as well. And of course, the Virgo energy wants us to stay in this present moment, connected to the here and now, using our logic and practicality, while Neptune retrograde in the Pisces energy wants us to use our feelings, our intuition, our emotions in order to navigate the path, the plan, the strategy that we're trying to formulate and moving forward. The moon, still in Virgo energy, going to trine, beautiful interaction with Pluto, who of course is retrograde in Capricorn. And you would know if you listen to me for any amount of time that we really like Virgo interactions with Pluto because Virgo energy has a major focus on the lower level intellect, the mental plane, our thoughts, our ideas, our logic, our practicality, while Pluto tends to want to do a deep dive in the psyche to examine the programming, the conditioning, the fears, the doubts, the pain, the trauma that constantly put us in a situation to be reacting, to ego, when we should be responding, of our higher selves. This particular trine is a beautiful energy, because a trine means that we are blending these energies together in order to get a gentle nudge, if you will, in the right direction. Now, what we're doing here is simply transforming our emotions, the way that we're feeling about certain topics and themes. Again, we have to be looking back, all these planets in a retrograde, in order to understand where it is that we want to go from here. It's at this particular point in time that the moon is going to go void, of course. We have one aspect that the moon void is going to make, which is a semi-square, creating a little bit of a tension and conflict with Venus, the goddess of love, beauty, worth, pleasure, and money, who is in the heart and soul of the zodiac in this Leo energy. She is trying to clear her fogginess, her confusion from her retrograde. She's not going to be clear of the post-retrograde shadow period until October 8th. So we still have some processing to do in our heart space, in our head space. The moon interacting with Venus right now is really putting us in a situation to question our emotions, question what it is that our heart is asking us to pursue, question what it is that we have to move away from and gain closer proximity to. The moon does lock into this Libran energy at 1:45 p.m. and we are definitely going to be feeling a little bit lighter, a little bit more social, a little bit more, I'm going to say, in the mood and attitude to kind of have fun, to lighten the vibe just a tad. Now, the very first aspect that we have with the moon in Libra is not the nicest one, and it's an interaction with Jupiter, the planet of growth, expansion, beliefs, abundance, and blessings, who of course is retrograde in Taurus energy. So Libran energy, Taurus energy, what do they have in common? Venus as their ruler. So what we're kind of experiencing here is that Jupiter is showing us where we have an opportunity to kind of expand and grow within ourselves. We've learned a lot, we've experienced a lot, but we haven't taken the time to actually integrate that inner being, inner wisdom. And so the intensity that comes from us kind of wanting to make a change, wanting to transform, wanting to take action, especially in our physical realm, because of course Jupiter is in the fixed earth sign of Taurus, we need to slow the roll. We need to step back. We need to act as the observer. The moon in this Libran energy needs us to kind of weigh the pros and cons, needs to see both sides of the coin, needs to explore both sides of the perspective in order for us to get on the same page before our heart and our head can engage the physical body to take actions, to make moves, to align our outer realm with what it is that we've already arrived at in our inner realm. Again, not going to happen overnight, going to take some time, but the sorting through, the processing of these thoughts, these feelings, these ideas coming full stop at us. Now, 4:12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we have Mercury, ruler of the mental plane, ruler of information, communication, how it is that we express ourselves, going direct in his place of power in this Virgo energy at 8 degrees. So again, take a listen to this astro forecast. I go into a little bit more depth, a little bit more detail on what Mercury going direct is going to mean for us. But just know we're retracing our steps from, let's say, August 20th-ish. Mostly because we've been sitting in confusion. We haven't been able to piece things together. We're not supposed to with a Mercury retrograde. We're just supposed to act as the observer and just kind of pay attention to the craziness and the chaos, giving us hints and clues on what we have to leave behind and what we have to initiate and moving forward. This particular energy is going to give us some time, if you will, to have the information and details that we've been lacking kind of roll in at a very slow pace. Now, granted, it is going to take some time to alleviate that head pressure as well, but we are actively taking a good look at our circumstances, at the opportunities that we have to close the door on some circumstances and the opportunity to open the door to some new circumstances. Again, we are just trying to be low and slow in our approach of kind of seeing what is piecing together now that our mental plane is clearing the fog away. Considering the fact that we're going to be in the post-retrograde shadow period until October, We aren't piecing anything together fast. So if you're still looking for clarity, there's still lots of time. If you're still looking to plan and strategize, there's still lots of time. And trust me, this isn't something you're going to have to seek. These particular topics and themes will be very in your face, probably already have been in your face, but need a little bit more time to organically and naturally unfold. The moon in this Libran energy going to interact with Saturn in not the nicest way. Saturn is the Lord of Karma. He rules over rules and roles and responsibilities and structures and foundations. He's retrograde in Pisces energy, trying to kind of disassemble, deconstruct our old belief system. Now, we do have to really be questioning everything right now. We're going through a major change, a major awakening, a major shift in the collective consciousness. So this is a time for us to be picking apart what our truth is, what we thought to be true, whether or not we're still aligned with it, what it is that we want to do moving forward, what is preventing us from moving forward. We really have to kind of deconstruct what it is that we have built our belief system off of and really just kind of ask ourselves, are we still in this vibration and frequency of belief? Now, the moon interacting with Saturn in this way, going to bring on a funk. This is negative Nancy, Betty the bully, coming out to play. And here's the thing, there's a lot of depth that Saturn retrograde in Pisces is bringing, and the Libran energy avoids depth at all costs. We want to stay in the shallow end of the pool, so to speak, with the moon in Libra. We don't want to dive into the deep end of our thoughts, of our feelings, of our emotions. But again, may I remind you that over the course of the moon being in Libran energy, we are going to have to experience the extremes of our thoughts, our energy, our emotions, our experiences, our circumstances in order to find a new common ground. The last thing that we got going on here today is the sun, very much still in this Virgo energy, trining, beautiful interaction, with Uranus, the Great Awakener, who is retrograde in Taurus energy. So this is going to bring a little bit of a jolt, a little bit of a shift in our mood, in our attitude, in our perspective. We are going to start seeing where it is that we got to break away from the old. We're going to start seeing where it is that we have to blaze a new path moving forward, where we have to try something new, where it is that the mundane routine of what it is that we have been doing is basically sucking the life force energy out of us, and where it is that we need to spice things up just a tad. This is going to give us the emotional detachment that we need at this particular point in time to act as the observer, to kind of see where we're at in this particular situation and circumstance, and the opportunities for us to break free of this to actually move forward. Now, it does stand to bring us some aha moments, some epiphanies, some shifts in our mental plane where we are opening up to a different perspective that we may not have been exploring previous to this. This may put us in a situation where we're more open to change, where we're willing to try new methods, new ways of going about doing the things that we've already been doing. But basically, we're just kind of understanding where it is that we have a jolt of energy coursing through our physical bodies that want us to take action on impulse, on our urges, to make a major change and transformation in our realm. But let me just say to you, we're seriously, like, we're not in a time of action. It may feel like that, but we're not in a time of action. We're in a time of planning and strategizing about the actions that we want to take. So although this may kind of get us a little bit frazzled in a way where we want to take action and make moves, please just kind of tap into the bigger, greater, grander perspective that we need to have to see the plan, the path, the direction, the strategy that we could adopt in moving forward.